This beautiful braided chicken stuffed bread is one of my favorite items to serve during iftar, and today we're making it together. Let's begin by making the filling. In a little bit of butter, we're going to saute up some onion, and we don't want to brown it too much, we just want it to begin to soften. And then we'll add in some all-purpose flour, and here we're just cooking it for a couple of minutes just to get rid of the raw flavor. And then we'll add in our seasonings and saute for another couple minutes. And of course, I'll list all the quantities in the description box. And then we'll add in some milk and cook everything together until our filling begins to thicken. This should take about 5 minutes, and once your filling starts to thicken, you're going to go ahead and add in boiled and shredded chicken. Then we'll add in some chopped cilantro and green chilies and stir everything together. I also added in some Maggi sauce, which is like a spicy ketchup, but you can add in any hot sauce that you like. And then we're going to cook this for about 15 to 20 minutes until we have a really thick and creamy filling. Now let's start to assemble our bread. I made my bread dough a couple hours earlier, and I'll leave this recipe in the description box as well. And I'm just going to section this into 2 balls because I'm going to make 2 loaves of my chicken bread. Now, if you don't want to make the bread dough by yourself, you can easily use puff pastry dough. This is going to taste so good with puff pastry as well. So all I'm going to do is roll out a large rectangle and add it to an oiled baking dish. And then I'll just stretch it out a little bit by hand. Then I'm going to take my filling and add it right down the center. I just divided my filling into 2 sections and put in half per loaf of bread. Now using some kitchen scissors, I'm going to cut slits 1 inch apart right down the edges of the bread. And you want to try to keep the cuts equal on both sides. And then it's as easy as folding each slit over in a crisscross pattern. And this comes out so beautiful. Every time I make it, I get compliments. And then we're going to seal the edges at the bottom and the top by just rolling and tucking them in. Now, if you're doing the homemade dough, you want to let this rise for another 30 minutes. If you're using puff pastry, you can go on to the next step. Now we'll coat this with some egg wash so that it'll get a nice golden color when it bakes. And then lastly, I'm just going to sprinkle some sesame seeds on top. Into a preheated oven it goes, and we'll bake it at 350 for about 35 minutes or until it's nice and golden. And as soon as you get this out of the oven, you want to brush this with some melted butter or some ghee. This is going to help your bread stay soft. But if you're using puff pastry dough, you can skip this step. And my beautiful chicken stuffed pastry is ready to serve. I really hope you guys try this recipe. And as always, please like and follow for more.